All right, ladies and programmers, we're going to do Platform Jumper 1. We're doing part 2. We're going to create the scenario. So far at this point, you should have already done the brainstorming guide, so you have an idea of what you're trying to do. You've made sure that you're following my ratings, and now we're actually going to get started. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the green foot on the desktop. Okay, so there's a little green foot on the desktop, and then green foot's going to open probably an existing project. Now you're going to make a new scenario. So this project's called a scenario. So you're going to go to scenario new. You may have a different version, so it might say like a Java or a Stride project. We're working in Java. You should know that. So we're going to make a new Java project. So you're going to click on the Java one. Now it makes you save it right away. So we're going to go to Computer. We're going to go to your folder with your name on it. Okay, you're going to go to your programming folder or Intro to Programming. Okay, and then inside there you can click this or whatever the new version is and create a new folder called Platform Jumper. Okay, so in here is where we're going to save it. So I'm going to call this okay, so at Platform Jumper, put my name, you put your name, lesson 1. Okay, and then we're going to hit create. Okay, so it's going to create a new scenario. Okay, so mine didn't like it, but anyway, we have this. All right, so let's pretend this is it. Okay, so now let's see what's on here. Create a new scenario named Platform Jumper. Give it a good name. Start it with a capital letter. Okay, so now we're going to make a subclass of world and give it a good name, and we're going to eventually do these as well. Okay, so here's my scenario. I'm going to go right click. I'm going to say new subclass. Now I'm going to give it a good name. So I'm going to call mine level 1. Because I'm going to have multiple levels. If you have like a forest world or whatever you want your first world to be, give it a good name. And if you want to give it a background right now, you can choose a tile background. Okay, and then click OK. So we have our subclass of world. Okay, and we're going to keep moving from there. Oh, we have to make it the size you want it. We forgot to do that. Let's go back up. Okay, make the world the size you want it. Alright, so once you have your world, you're going to double click on the source code. You're going to look in here. And you have this thing right here. This is called the constructor. This is a special method. It runs one time to construct our world. And this is code we need in most worlds, or just about every world. And this tells us how wide and how tall it's going to be. So I'm going to make mine 900 by 600. Okay, and that should fit well. That tells how many cells wide it is. The Wombat world, this was bigger because each cell was really big. Each cell is 1 pixel. Okay, so I'm going to compile that and see what happens. Okay, so if you look at it, you can see how big my world is. So if I want to play around with it and say, you know what, I could probably make that a little bit bigger. Let's go 1100 by 700. Let's see what that looks like. And I'm going to click compile and see what it looks like. That's about the right size for my world. Okay. All right. So we got that down. So now we're going to go on to the next part, which is the rest of the subclasses. Okay. Create a new abstract class called Jumper. Create a new class for your main character that is a subclass of Jumper. So here's a good guy. Give him a good name. Okay, enemy is also going to be a jumper, so we're going to teach the jumper how to do a lot of things, and therefore our good guy can jump and our bad guy can jump, as among other things. Okay, but because we're going to have multiple bad guys, so we're going to have an enemy subclass, and then we're going to make our first bad guy, and you can actually start making separate bad guys if you want. Okay, so we're going to do that. So the way we do that is we're going to right-click on this. We're going to make a new subclass. We're going to call it jumper. This is an abstract class. We're never going to put them in the world, so we don't need a picture. Okay, so we're going to right-click on Jumper, and we're going to make a new subclass, and we're going to call this Good Guy. Or you can give them a name if you want, and we're going to choose, you can choose a picture or something if you want. Okay, so I'm going to make my Good Guy an alligator. Okay, my main guy. So I'm going to make a new subclass of Jumper, and this is going to be the enemy. Okay, and he's going to be an abstract class, no picture. Okay, so no picture. Okay, and then we're going to go to, we're going to make a new subclass. We're going to call this guy, this is going to be my bad guy. Remember, you always start classes with capital letters. Okay, if you didn't, go back and change it. Okay, so click OK, and so I have that. Now, I'm going to compile that, see what it looks like. Oh, I need to give my bad guy a picture. So make sure you set the image there. So we're going to make him an ant. Click OK. Now, remember, this guy gets no picture, this guy gets no picture, this guy gets no picture, because these are abstract classes. They don't go in the world. These guys do. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Okay. Oh, let me show you one thing. If you messed up on the name, here's what you do. So let's say you messed up on the bad guy and you gave it a lowercase letter. Here's what you do. It says right here, public class bad guy. So if it was a lowercase b, I'd come in here, make it a uppercase b, and we should be good to go. Okay, something like that. I think that's it for part 2. Let me double check. Yeah, that was it for part 2. You can finish that up and go on to